Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of the Scottish Running Podcast with my wee baldy myself, Sean Gaffney, Pete Tucker, and as you see from his t-shirt, the reigning Arrochar 10K champion. I think that's the only race you've won this year, Pete, so congratulations.
Yeah, except it wasn't this year, was it, Sean? Because we were running in February. So
What a potato, but whatever.
yeah, moving on, moving
It
on.
was 6 months ago. And then so this is actually our first female guest
What?
of this year. In fact, the last female guest we had on was Liz McColgan. And don't get me wrong, Yvonne, I try to get female guests on. I message them, but it's like high school all over again, where they just ignore me and don't message me
Block.
back.
Yeah.
Yep, I pretty much block. Like, who's this? Who's
Is
this
this
weird
creep?
bald guy? But thank you for coming on. So Yvonne McNairn, you run for Giffnock North. You have a marathon PB of 2:54, a half marathon PB of 79 minutes, and at the last British and Irish Masters cross country, you qualified to run for Scotland, and you've got a bit of a story in running as well. So please welcome Mrs. Yvonne McNairn. So Yvonne, how are you?
Hello. Hiya, I'm just laughing at you calling me Mrs. McNairn. I'm like, no, I'm not in work. Don't call me Mrs. McNairn. That's my
Yeah,
teacher name.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I should say Yvonne is a primary school teacher as well. So add on to that to the stress of running, it's even more impressive.
Yeah.
So before you come on the call tonight, you were at training tonight doing a session. What
Yep.
what was the session again?
Yep. So that's why I look like this. So I just ran down to. I've started making it a longer warm up and a longer cool down for just getting extra miles in. So I ran down to Williamwood track where we meet, and we did 800s with a reducing recovery. So we started with a 2-minute recovery, reducing by 10 seconds every time to a 110 recovery. And I managed to make the reps consistent within a second. So I was absolutely delighted.
That's really good. That is really
Not
good.
like me to be OCD with my rep times.
I used to. I really hated doing short recovery sessions before, but as you get fitter, you really start to see the benefit, and you start to go, oh yes.
Yeah. When I got to the last rep on 1 minute 10 recovery, I was like, how am I going to manage this? And then I looked at the finish and I was like, exact same again.
I know, it's great. It's a good confidence booster as
Yeah,
well.
it's a good feeling.
I remember, tonight I did 5 times a K, and as you all know, I'm really not fit. I was at 3:40 for the first three, then 3:37 for the last two, and it was a 2-minute recovery. And I remember when I ran my 5K PB, I was doing 6 times a K at 3:12 average with like a minute recovery, and I'm pretty sure the last one I was like 50 seconds recovery, and I'm so unfit, Yvonne. But we'll get back.
I know.
Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Exactly.
Don't compare
So-
yourself to your 2 years ago self. I do it too much.
I know. But yeah, so well, before we get into your running career and running story, Pete, it's over to you to do your lovely wee questions you like to find out about all of our guests.
Cheers, Sean. Thanks very much. Yeah, as I said, everyone, thanks for coming on. It's great to have you on the podcast.
Thanks for having
Sean,
me.
no worries, not at all. Sean, you did do a bit of a disservice, though. You forgot to mention that Yvonne is the reigning Arrochar 10K
Yeah.
champion. So, yeah,
I'm just gutted I missed the memo. I would have worn my t-shirt.
there we go. Okay, right. We'll just kickstart with my few questions. Then I'm sure you know the format. So we'll just start off with your best achievement or your proudest PB, or both.
I've definitely got to say the Glasgow half from 2019 when I was got my first sub. Well, I got a massive PB. My previous PB to that day was 127, and
Okay.
I got 119 that day. And I was second in the Scottish Half Marathon Championships behind Finola Ross, and second ahead of Annabelle Simpson. So
Wow.
yeah, I was standing on the podium with two of Scottish running as great female athletes, just thinking, and I crossed the line and somebody said, put this medal over my neck. And I'm looking at it thinking, first of all, I had no clue this was the Scottish Half Marathon Championships because I'd never paid attention before. And second of all, I had no clue I was second. I was just in a complete whirlwind of what's just happened to me here. I've just ran a 119. I've just smashed an 8-minute PB and I'm standing beside these two amazing girls. So And it was the race of my life. I ran a 10-mile solid shift and then a 5K fastest, like a really fast 5K to finish. So it was perfect negative split, and medalled in the championship and got to stand with those two absolute champs.
That's brilliant. That's amazing. It's great.
So that's my best.
Yeah, that's brilliant when it all comes together. I take it that was a key race you were targeting specifically then.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it. I just remember thinking I really want to try and get I knew I was in better shape than I'd been the previous year. Because that was my first half, or my first it was a year, 1 year post baby, the 127, and then that was 2 years. I think I'm trying to do the maths. When was he born? 2018. I'm getting all the years mixed up now.
2022, I think. Is that right? I'm just looking on Power 10, if that's right.
Yeah, go for it. That would help me with my timeline.
Yeah, and you run quicker than that since, though, haven't you? I think
slightly. In Inverness, 6 months after that, I did 20 seconds quicker. So I've ran a 119 twice now. So
brilliant.
I hadn't targeted it. I just remember thinking I want to do well at this race. I had no clue that I would manage what I managed.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, thanks for that. Right, moving on. Who's your favourite male athlete?
Male athlete? Oh, I'm quite controversial.
It can't be one of us.
I know. Am I going high, or am I going local, or?
It's your call.
I really like Inga Britson.
Okay, yeah, good, fair play.
Just because he's so full of it, and I just think he's a great showman, and I think he brings a lot of life to athletics. So sometimes when you watch athletics, it can be quite stale. There's not a lot going on, and there's not much banter. But I just feels like he brings real good competition and real good kind of rivalry. And people love him and hate him, and I think it's brilliant.
No, I agree. I think that's a good. He's not personally one of my personal favourites, but I totally get where you're coming from, and I think he is great for the sport. And I guess it's fair to say he's probably the Kardashian of the running world. He's got the show.
I have to say I love him and hate him in equal measure, but I just think when I think of who's a good athlete and who do you think you're amazing?
Yeah,
that's who I think of, because he's an absolute.
Yeah, he's class, and the rivalry, shall I say, with Josh Kerr, that's great.
They just wind each other up, and I think it's brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay, and your favourite female athlete then?
I think if I'm going to that level, it's got to be Elise McColgan. For just sheer wow. I love the fact that she puts herself out there on Instagram.
Yeah.
And she lets everybody see the good bits and the bad bits and the in-between bits and the down days and the good days. And she talks about the struggles of being a female in athletics, and she's really not got a filter. And I think she's doing an amazing job at bringing athletics to the kind of forefront of sport, because for a long time it sat in the background. And I think she's a great ambassador for young women to look up to and think, look at the records that she's smashing, and she just looks like she is living a great life. I think she's
definitely
putting that out there as well, because sometimes, again, athletics isn't always the most glamorous sport, and she kind of brings a little bit of glamour.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm thinking about the top level athletes, that's who I would go for.
Yeah, no, that's a great shout. I had the privilege of just bumping into her once at the World Indoor Champs in Glasgow. She was just there spectating, and I managed to have a chat with her, and she was really down to earth, really friendly, happy to chat to some random Englishmen on the Scottish Running podcast. So
I just love that sometimes if you respond to her story, she'll chat back, and it's
that's nice. Yeah,
just kind of down to earth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, great. Okay, moving on. What have we got next? So, do you have a favourite football team at all?
It depends which side of this house you ask. So my husband is a Celtic supporter, and my little boy is a Rangers supporter. So
okay.
And I have to say, no, I don't really follow football, but anything out with the Old Firm, I'm not a big fan of the Old Firm, and I quite like when Scotland play, but I think that's just because I love the national anthem, to be honest.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I could tell, because I think what you said before, your boy is 6 years old. Is that right?
Yeah.
I could tell you. Well, he was obviously not born before 2012, because let's not discuss that about how old Rangers are as a football club. But
well, my brother's trying to get Alexander into Rangers, and Paul supports Celtic, so he can make up his own mind. He's been to both games now, so
yeah, fair enough. Well, I'm neutral. I just stir the pot in a few group chats, as Sean will probably tell you about. But okay, moving on. Do you have a favourite movie at all?
Oh yeah, I do. So it's from my childhood, and it's the first film ever that made me cry. It's Beaches.
Which one?
Beaches.
Okay.
Do you know it? No, the tag song is "Wind Beneath My Wings."
I don't know. I don't know it.
You need to go and watch it.
I'm
It's
gonna
an
add that.
absolute classic.
Right, I'll add it to my watch list. But I think this was during lockdown. I created like a watch list, and I've got about 90 things on there that people recommendations, whether it's Netflix, whatever. And I think I've watched about 7 of them. So yeah, it
No,
could be.
this one goes way, way, way back.
Right.
It's just about two best friends, and one of them ends up dying of cancer in the end. It's just it's absolutely
All right.
heartbreaking, but it's a
Okay.
good one.
Fair enough. All right, we'll add it on there. Next one, the most interesting person you've met through running.
Oh, the most interesting person. I think I've mentioned this person before because they're an absolute hero of mine in the way that they juggle life. Morag Miller.
Yeah, yeah.
So Morag is kind of, I suppose, a bit of a friend now. I go to Morag for various treatments for my skin, and I learned so much about her from Instagram, and then found out that she's also involved with aesthetics and particularly acne related treatments. So I started going to her through that, and then following her on Instagram, I learned so much more about her, and I just really look up to her in terms of her the fact that she works full time. She's got 2 kids and she's running at the top level.
Yeah.
And to me, for me, that's, you're saying interesting, and I suppose that she's the person that spurs the most interest, because you just think, how do you manage it all? How do you run at that level, be a great mum to 2 kids, a wife, work full time in the job that you're in? So I would say that would be my person.
Yeah, no, that's a great shout. Yeah, I like that.
Kind of a role model, but also a super clever, trained as a doctor, then trained as a dentist, and I just think it's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Okay, thanks for that. And do you have a favourite race at all?
I love the Troon 10K.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always in our championship. It's always on a nice summer evening. I've won it a couple of times. Last year I did it just after London, so I was second, but not far off the girl that was in first. And yeah, so I'll to go back this year again and maybe get the gold again.
So what sort of time of year is that? Then not too long after London.
It's in May.
May, right? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
so I did London in April and then tried to run a 10K in May.
Yeah, I've done that in the past. It's not the easiest thing to do.
It just makes you love running, because it's up in the seaside and it's always a nice night. Well, sometimes it's a nice night.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I'll maybe try and look at that one. And what's your favourite? I know you were talking just beforehand about a session this evening, but do you have a favourite running session at all?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a sucker for short stuff, so I love anything like a minute on, a minute off, or 400s, or even things like 2 minutes on, 1 minute off. Anything where I know I can just work hard for a really short time, and then the break is incoming.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Listen, I normally when I ask the favourite session, that's it. But since you're talking about 400 or minute reps, I'm going to give you. I know you've got a coach, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So. He's the coach for Giffnock North. So.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to set you a session. Obviously, it's just a challenge if you fancy doing it. So it's quite similar to what you were talking about. It's just one that I particularly like, and normally I've coached a few people. It's not really a marathon session, but I've always incorporated it within a marathon build up. So it's quite simple. It's 12 400s. The pace depends. It's meant to be fast. Leave that to your own decisions, at what pace you're at, what shape you're in. So it's 12 400s with a 200 float.
Right.
So you fancy a bit of that?
I like that. That sounds similar to what I would usually do, actually.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. We'll see how you get on with that. All right. Moving on.
So when am I to do that, and how do I let you know?
just whenever. Just do it at some point in your life, and then message me on Strava or whatever, and just say, "There you go, Pete," and I'll check it out.
Okay.
Cool. All right. And do you have a favorite food?
Anything that involves pasta or pizza, I have to say, just absolute carbs.
Yeah, easy one. I'm all about the carbs. I normally
Yeah.
have at least 3 different options of carbs in any meal, which I
Yeah, I
sometimes
think
get.
Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night this weekend I ate pizza just for various different family reasons. That pizza was on offer every single time. I was like, okay, more pizza.
Yeah, fair enough. It's quick and easy. It's a go-to, isn't it? Right.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you have a phobia or a pet hate?
yeah. I've got a phobia of of holes.
All right.
It's got a name, but like there
Yeah,
was just as a weird example tonight, there was a thing on Instagram and the girl had about 20 or 30 different holes in her ears and they were all pierced, but they weren't didn't have earrings in them.
Right.
And I was honestly like, "Ooh."
yeah, yeah. I think they call that, it's like trypophobia or something like that.
Yeah, and there's a place beside the hydro. If you've ever driven over to the hydro, there's a place right next to it. I think it's a car park and the walls all hold.
Is that called the cheese grater?
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I know
And every
it.
time I
Yeah.
drive past it, I'm like, oh, I can't even look. I think I'm gonna be sick.
Do you know
I
what?
don't know what it is.
This is quite random, only because I was listening to someone discussing this on the radio the other day. So obviously you've got a phobia of holes. So just on the subject of holes, how many holes? Yeah, it's all right. This isn't going where it could go.
Where, Pete,
How?
tread carefully.
No, it's all right, Sean. Don't worry. This is. I've certified this. It's okay. How many holes does a straw have?
2.
And what is that? Yeah, 2. Okay. What do you think, Sean?
Uh, One, I don't care. And
Okay.
two, I'm going to say 2 holes.
But yeah, but listen, isn't it just one hole though? Because it's like there is room for debate. I can't remember how it was actually debated on the radio, but it's literally just one hole, isn't it? There's 2 ends of it, but it's just one hole. The straw has one hole.
Ladies and
Yeah, I suppose you're
gentlemen,
right.
this is your Arrochar 10K champion.
Right, moving on, and then finally, do you have a favourite poker hand if you play poker?
I don't know how to play poker. I can play Uno. I'm an absolute champ. I'll take you down if we're playing Uno, but I don't know how to play poker.
Right, so you do no reverse card me, right? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay away from poker.
Back to you.
It's the devil's game if you unless you're good at it, which I'm not. So
Nah, I'm rank at poker. I don't understand the rules.
fair play. Right, back over to you for a bit, Sean.
Sorry, neither.
Thanks for that, Yvonne.
Yeah, that was good wee insight there. We learned your PBs, we learned about holes, and
Got to be careful when I talk about that phobia.
yeah, I know. I know exactly what you mean. I think it is. It's called it triple something phobia, and it's anytime I see pictures of it, I'm like, no,
Yeah, I don't know what
disgusting.
it is. Can't look.
It's very, very disgusting. But yeah, so we've heard a couple of your PBs, but when did you start running?
I think I was about 13 when I started running for Giffnock North. Actually, my brother went along one night and I said, "Can I come?" And he was like, "No, can you heck?" And then I went along anyway. So yeah, about 13. I think I was an under 13 for Giffnock North.
Nice, nice. And then, so did you just progress through the age groups and did
Kind
you
of.
take a wee break?
Giffnock North are really kind of almost famous, I suppose, within the west of Scotland, if not Scotland, for their junior section. Got a really successful junior section. And I was part of that, I suppose. We had a really strong team, and they're probably in the cupboard right there. I've just got loads of, I'm never individual. I was always fourth. I was the queen of being fourth, a bit like your pal Ninka. I'm on the fourth. I was always fourth at things, and and we would, but as a team at Giffnock North, we would win a lot of national medals, and I would usually be part of that team. So like under 13, under 15, and then I think at 17 I discovered alcohol and social activities. So I chucked it when I was about 17. But yeah, I was in a good group when I was younger.
Oh,
and then chucked it when I went to uni.
Yeah, it seems to be quite a common story with a lot of runners in Scotland till they get to university and they just have such a good time and they go, it's fine, I'm young. Then they make a wee comeback to it in later years.
It's my biggest regret. I see the kids at uni now, and I think they're getting it right. You know, they've got their sport while they're at uni, and I wish so much I'd done that, but I don't know that it was that big a thing when I was at uni. Certainly wasn't advertised. And I went to Jordan Hill, so it wasn't at the main campus. So there was no encouragement. I don't remember anybody ever saying come along to a running club, because I might have been like, oh, running club. And then I went back after I'd qualified
Ah,
as a
nice.
teacher when I was 21.
No, so basically a fully qualified primary school teacher, then you decided to add more stress to your life.
When I couldn't do my trousers up, I was like, I need to do something about this.
So it was like 21. So when you came back to running, was it, full on serious training again, or was it, you
Nah,
just went a couple of club nights or out a
yeah.
couple of runs?
I remember vividly having a conversation with someone. So it was actually the guy who is I want to say he's like the run director for the Great Scottish Run, or he's pretty high up in it. I can't remember for the life of me his name. But we quite often, we Giffnock North, Bernie, my coach, or the senior coach, is always got people at the finish line of the Great Scottish Run to do manual timings. So we were doing the manual timings for the half, and I remember chatting to somebody about just how I was desperate to get under 40 for the 10K. And he said, well, tell me about your training. I said, well, I train on a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Sunday. And he's like, you'll never get under 40. He was just so blunt. He's like, you'll never get under 40 if that's all you do. And I thought, oh, really? It's not what I was told. So yeah, he just kind of spurred something in my brain, and I thought I need to start doing more. I need to start doing more. And it was around about that time I started to follow Morag on Instagram and on Strava, who I've already spoken about. And she was running every day. And I was like, running every day. There's a novel idea. Or running certainly more miles than I had been. And then I think I think a lot of people have the same story, and that lockdown came around and I had more free time. But there was obviously the big story in between there, before lockdown, when I had I was saying to you, like, I dipped in and out of training. I would go on a Tuesday, I would sometimes go on a Thursday. I would rarely do a long run because most of the time I would be hungover. And then when I was pregnant with Alexander, I ended up in hospital with sepsis and wasn't able to run at all. And so after I had Alexander, I had this newfound desire to exercise and to get outside and to be well. And after that was 2018 he was born. So for the first couple of years I started upping my training, and then 2 years, 2020, I would say, was when I really properly started to take it seriously, when it was lockdown.
Yeah,
Kind of training every day. And I've not, what are we now, 2025, I would say. So that's been 4 years of proper training to get the kind of times that I'm doing now. But that's been since I was 21, and I'm now 40. I would say it took me until I was 35 to be where I am now.
I see. And like you said, a wee novel idea, running every day, etc. So where did the idea? We'll get back onto, like, obviously you when you had sepsis, but when did the idea of the marathon? You went from, this guy's told me I'll never break 40 minutes or 10K. That was your target, but then you went from 40-minute 10K to wanting to do a marathon. So when did that start in your head?
So after I had Alexander, I was still on for this. I want to break 40. So I had him in the August, and I spoke earlier about the Troon 10K. So August, and then the following May, which was what, 5, 6, 8 months later, I finally broke 40 at the Troon 10K. So for me, Troon was like magic because I'd suddenly broken 40. And I remember the same guy saying to me, see, when you break 40, in fact, no, it was my coach, Bernie, that said, when you break 40, you will never go over 40 again. And he was right. I never did. So I got my 40, I got my sub 40. It was by about 10 seconds, 39, 40 something. And then I got my half PB. I got under 130, which was 127. That was in 2019, the 127. And then fast forward, I think 2 or 3 years later, when I got my 119, I had a bit of a lull after that. I felt like I'd got these huge PBs. So to put them into context, I went from 40 to 36, from 130 to 119, and from 20 minutes for the 5K to 17 minutes. So I'd had these massive PBs, and I thought, this is just going to keep going. I'm going to keep getting faster. This is amazing. I'm loving what's happening. I'm loving how fit I'm getting. And then I just hit a wall. And I started going back. There might have been an element of overtraining. There might have been an element of racing too much. I think there was a whole host of reasons. And I got absolutely fed up with the 10K and the halves. And I thought, I need to change. And then I thought, what else could I do? I'll do a marathon. So somebody had said to me, you can get a championship guaranteed entry for London. So not Christmas there, but the Christmas before, I just quickly applied to London really late in the day. And I didn't know that if you had this specific time, you got it absolutely guaranteed. So I hadn't started training, and I got the place in maybe the middle of January. So everybody that I knew that was doing London had already started training. And then in middle of January, I was like, oh, got a place. Need to start training. And then I just did a kind of intense 10-week block. I think that was all I had by then. And I just went. I got a coach, and then just went absolutely mad for the marathon. And I had no clue. I had no clue what my time was going to be, because pre getting all my PBs, my previous marathon time had been 3:13. And I thought, I'd love to get sub 3. But sub 3 is the ultimate, isn't it, for so many people? Didn't know if I could get it.
Yeah.
And then, I had the race of my life, actually. When I'm saying that the Glasgow half was the race of my life, I'm actually thinking maybe it was London now that just all went well. Everything that could have went well, went well. Everything that could have went wrong didn't come into play.
Well, you look at what you're saying, when you came back to run, you ran like a 127. But in London, you ran 2 127s back to back. So
that's mad, actually, when you think about it.
Just shows you like how far you came along when you decided to, to start getting the head down and, leave that university lifestyle behind and start running more miles, as you call it.
Yeah, I think running has become a lot more popular as well. I think running has really, I don't know if it's just the circle of people I have on my social media, but running is, to me, it's just everywhere. Just don't remember it being such a big thing 10 years ago.
No, I think, me personally, I think COVID played a big thing. People had a lot of spare time in their hands.
Yeah.
So then people discovered Strava, etc. And they all go, I'm going to go out and try. And then they would try a 5K. And they go, oh, that was actually okay. And then they would just keep running. And then it's got to the point where there's like, you get your running clubs, but now there's like social running clubs. So there's like one called in Glasgow, like Mums on the Run, stuff like that.
It's great. There's clubs for everyone, because when you think about a running club, the amount of people that say to me, oh, running clubs are for fast people.
Yeah, and it really annoys me. I'm like, it's not. For me, a running club is where you go to get better at running.
Yeah.
And then you become faster.
Yeah.
But they're for everyone.
Yeah, and there's a lot of groups now that have popped up, and again, a lot of it is from social media that I see that are not calling themselves a running club.
Yeah.
And it's more accessible to people, and more people are getting into running, and it just seems to have kind of taken off, doesn't it? I think it's great. So it's funny how it's all, the trajectory has has gone for me, but I definitely think the popularity of running played a part.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes in cycles, because like throughout the 80s, generally there was like a really, really good, like there was more sort of strength in depth, if you like. There was so many like marathon runners or people that were consistently, or larger numbers that were like under, say, in the men's side of things, under 2:30, and probably under 3 hours for the women. There was a larger proportion, but like social media has come on, and then whether it's particular performances, obviously we've had a few major championships like London 2012, and obviously the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. And I think that's inspired quite a lot of people, and like there's so many people, like you say, coming into the sport a lot later, aren't there, and still running PB. I mean, obviously you're in PB shape, like, you know, at the moment, so it's good to see. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm definitely not in PB shape.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you mentioned, that's a good word you mentioned, Yvonne, trajectory, because I talk about that a lot, because I'm on a different trajectory to a lot of these people that have come into the sport later. Yeah, I'm on a downward spiral, but we're going to try and slow that spiral down a little bit once I stop. Well, I played football a couple of weeks ago and did my back in, which was really, really stupid, and I have actually got a championship entry for
things runners should not do.
100%. 100%. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got until the end of February, I think, to get that championship entry in. I did the first bit, but yeah, if I don't know whether I'm going to do it or not. Are you in for London this year? Have you got a place or not?
No, Berlin.
Are you going for Berlin? Right. Okay.
Yeah, they don't call it a championship place in Berlin. What do they call it? Is it?
Yeah, I've done it once. I can't remember though. I don't even know if I qualified for that or.
I got in off my London time, basically.
Right. Okay.
Like a guaranteed place, but they don't call it a championship place. It's got a different name.
Yeah.
So my plan for the first half of the year is to focus on the half, and then, or the Alloa half.
Alloa, yeah.
And then I'm really going to cut back on racing and try not to over race. I think that was something where I've made a mistake in the past. I think the club championships for us anyway is a great thing for the club ethos and, you know, everybody turning out. But for me, I end up over racing, over training, and then I hit burnout. So what I need to focus on is what are the important races, and not just turning up
to
races.
Yeah, brilliant. No, you got plenty of time for that then, Berlin. I mean, obviously it's a really fast course, as I'm sure you've heard. Do you think you'll?
Did you just do Berlin?
Yeah, I did it. I'm trying to remember what year it was. It was either 2017 or 2018. I was a lot fitter than I am now, but that's not hard. I was in good shape, but I didn't feel like I had a particularly good run on the day. But yeah, I think I ran 2:28, but I was a lot fitter. Yeah, I was a lot fitter then though, and I was hoping to go quicker there. But yeah, looking back on it now, I mean, of course I'd take that right now. But no, it was a decent run. But I'd really put the work in. I was following some coaching from Mark Pollard from our club from Inverclyde, who is also involved with Scottish athletics. And yeah, I just did different type of training to what I'd done before, and it was a decent run. But you're always hoping for more, aren't you, as a runner? So
I know you can have the best race of your life, and then you think, oh, but what if?
Yeah, exactly. So is there a target? Is there a target already in mind for Berlin? Then have we got a time in mind?
Well, like we were just saying, you can run the best race of your life, and you still come away and you think, oh, maybe. So I feel like London for me has been the marathon of my life. Obviously, it was my best time, but also the best experience, the best splits. My splits were within seconds of each other, and my last 5K was the fastest. So I had the burners to put on at the end. I finished full of beans. Everybody was looking at me saying, I cannot believe that you've just ran a marathon, because I was beaming. I was just like an excited puppy, and I didn't feel like I was the way you should maybe be at the end of a marathon, which is probably on the floor. And whether that was adrenaline or was it because I'd maybe pulled back slightly. So now I'm thinking, maybe have I got more to give? But I don't want to think like that, because maybe that was everything that I had to give. So I'm going to approach it in the same way. I think my training was good. I just need to control the race again, and then I don't know, maybe even 1 minute off
Yeah, no, I like what you're thinking there. I mean, obviously, as you know, it's a very fine line. But like you say, maybe there was a bit more to come, and who knows? Maybe if you had gone a little bit quicker, you could have run slightly quicker. But at the same time, you probably just did execute the race like really, really well. But it's such a great feeling, especially that last 5K of London, when you see bodies coming back towards you and you're finishing strong and you're overtaking people. So yeah, let's maybe think about 2026 then. Obviously not this year. Let's you involved as well, Sean. We'll try and get a big squad of us down, and that could be a plan, because it's going to take me a long while to get back to any level of fitness. So we'll see if I toe the line this year or not. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
I think a marathon is way off my agenda for a long time.
No.
Well, 2026 for you, Sean. That's a good goal for you.
You could dress up as a swing.
Oh, yeah, I could.
There must be a world record in that. Fastest man dressed as a swing.
That's maybe I could probably steal the swing. Well, no, it's actually quite fucking heavy, so that's how I broke my leg. But yeah, I mean, I could like some sort of paper mache design of the Watt Street Park deathly swing.
Sean, could you not try and do a little bit of PR for your band? We should get that out, by the way. Sonic Void. I don't know if you changed your name. Sonic Void Acoustic. Is there not like a record for singing like the whole way around the marathon?
I think, and not it sounds pretty bragging here, but in the key I sing in, it'd be quite hard to sing and do the marathon at the same time.
Yeah.
There probably is people out there that can do it.
Speaker.
I could just put the microphone way up and just like whisper
with the swing around.
Yeah. I mean,
that'd be a good look.
I mean, I could try and get the marathon record for the world's fastest Smeagol. I could do that.
Yeah, that'd be good. You wouldn't even have to do fancy dress then either, so it wouldn't count as
exactly. Just wear like I don't know, a mount. I don't know. We're getting off a tangent here, but yeah,
I know, way off.
There's some ideas there. But anyways, Yvonne, so you smashed the marathon. Your splits were incredible, and your half marathon as well. But you also qualified for the Scotland women's vets team.
Yeah.
To compete at the British and Irish Masters. So, well, first of all, tell us about the qualifying race, because it looks like you had a stormer that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened that day. Either I had a really good day or other people didn't have a good day. But yeah, basically since I turned 35, before I turned 35, I'd never heard of the Scottish Vets before. For obvious reasons, it wasn't in my, I was out with my age limit. But when I turned 35, everybody was saying to me, you need to go and try and qualify, get a Scotland vest. I was like, oh, okay. And then the first year I was 35. I was 35. I missed out qualifying by about 10 seconds to one of my club mates. And then the next year was COVID. And then I think by then I was 37. So yeah, so when I was 37 and 38 and 39, I think that's right, I managed to qualify as a V35. And then last year was my first year as a V40. And that was my thinking was I just desperately want to qualify, because V40 is such a strong category. But the thing with Scottish vets is you don't have to turn up to qualify. So the best two on the day get to qualify, and then two on known form. Yeah. So in my head, I'm thinking, right, well, I know Michelle Sanderson's not going to turn up because she lives in Shetland. She's guaranteed to get selected. And then I knew that Sarah Green, who runs for Gala, was also not going to turn up because I think she'd been injured. And also it was quite a long way for her to go, and she's so strong that I knew she would get selected. So in my head, I'm going through all the V40s thinking, who's turning up and who do I need to beat? And then it's your luck on the day who turns up. You have to finish in the top two. Yeah. Because I certainly didn't think I could rely on being on known form, because I know how many are on known form. And then turned up on the day and won the race. So I was like, woo!
I was there. I don't know if I DNF'd. I went off in a huff. I had a mare. But I saw you absolutely smashed it. I'm just looking at the result here. In fact, it was closer than I thought. So yeah, when did you get to the? Was it? Is a? I've got a. In fact, I'm looking here. Was it? Oh no, sorry. It was a male vet 65 chap not far behind you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, fair play though.
All right.
Although,
All
No
right.
shame.
I mean, the girl has just won this the Scottish vets. You're like, hi, but there was some old guy near pension age just
right,
behind you. So, was it that good?
listen, he might be an old guy, but
Mortified.
I'm sure if we look up Colin Feacon's Power of 10, I'm sure he's got some pretty impressive times. So he might
Yeah.
be 65, and generally, let's
And
like,
also, I don't care what age is, he's male.
well, yeah, there you go. That's it. I mean, generally, not in all cases, but generally, if we're just being looking at it generalistic, the men are slightly faster. Not in all cases, clearly, especially when we're talking about the likes of your favourite athlete, Eilish.
Yeah.
But like fair play. Katie White though was behind you, and yeah, you had a good 10, 15 seconds over her. So great run that day.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if Sean was probably going to come onto it, and then you were over to Belfast. Is that where it was last
Yeah,
year?
it was in Belfast. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
tell
had
me
to.
about
It's brilliant. It's a brilliant experience. That's why I desperately want to qualify every year, because
Yeah.
it's not just the kind of kudos and the I can't think what the word is, but just the kind of achievement of getting the vests
Yeah.
and getting to represent your country. I think it's a brilliant thing that that British athletics have got, that you can represent your country for an older age group, and then it doesn't just end after seniors. It's such a brilliant event, and I think next year they're increasing how many people can qualify.
Oh, no.
So it's opening it up to more, which means the race will be bigger, and
Yeah.
it will give that opportunity to more people who are over 35.
Okay, fair enough. And sorry, did you say you'd done it before then as well, the British and Irish Masters? How many times
Yeah,
have you done it?
yeah. So I missed out when I was 35, but and then it was COVID. So
Yeah.
I'm confident. I think I went. My first one was in Dublin, and then so 37, 30, yeah, 37, and then it was in Glasgow last year when I was 38, and then the next year I was 39, but I was just turning 40 as the race was going to be, so I was a V40,
Right.
and that was in Belfast.
Fair enough. Yeah, brilliant.
So
Oh well.
next is hopefully Wales or England.
Yeah. Cool.
Hopefully.
Oh.
Not bad, not bad. I mean, I would love to qualify. I mean, but I don't know. I think the leg is. I think that swing in the leg, it's hampered my chances of doing anything and running the. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's really the men, the women are as well, but the men are super strong
Yeah,
in those age categories.
definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not playing the women down at all. I'm just, I know how hard it is to qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll come back stronger. But
As
going
I say,
by, yeah, as I see, I can even just bark. Let's see what people at the side like. Oh, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, but I think like your achievements are amazing because you had sepsis and like you came back like you had sepsis when you were pregnant and then you came
yeah,
back and it just shows you like a real resilience and your mentality to bounce back from that and just go right, okay, that happened. I was in the hospital with sepsis and now look at you, you're like smashing PBs and qualifying for Scotland
Yeah.
and then you're working full time as a teacher, you've got a kid. I think it's just amazing.
thank you. It's a tough gig. I mean, everyone's the same, I'm sure, but not every single time, but dark winter night, you get home from work, you've got a 45-minute turnaround to shovel a snack down your throat, neck a coffee, and get straight back out the door for training. And all you want to do is sit on the couch and not move. And for me, it's quite hard getting out the door on those nights. But
Yeah.
those are the nights like tonight. It was freezing cold, pitch black, running down the track with my big light on. Everyone else is driving home, and
Yeah.
you're just thinking, why am I doing this? And as soon as I finished that last 800-meter rep tonight, I was doubled over, holding onto the fence, breathing out my hole after our whole chat, and just thinking, this is why I do it.
No, listen, that's brilliant because clearly, like you just touched on there, the motivation, well, certainly for me and for a lot of people, motivation is the key one. Is the hardest thing, you know. If you can still, if you're still enjoying it, and if you can get out there, and like most people say, and it's true, the hardest part is getting out the door. Once you get out the door, though, do that run, even when it's cold, even if it's pissing down with rain. I think someone said to me once, has there ever been a time when you've gone for a run and regretted it? And then the answer is generally no. Like there might be the odd exception, but it's so good to get out there and
it's such a cliche, but it's always, why do you do it? You do it because of the feeling of when you're finished.
Yeah,
endorphins
and everything. Yeah,
it's just the next step in whatever your goal is, whether that's PBs or coming back from injury or whatever it is.
That's the thing. I mean, obviously, it's great, as I said, if you can actually still enjoy it. I enjoy the racing more than the training, but if you can still enjoy the training, I do enjoy the training sometimes, but it's just having that motivation to enjoy it. And obviously, you're clearly really competitive, and what I mean is you've got a competitive nature, but you're also competitive in the fact that you're winning races. So, and that must also be an extra. I mean, you might enjoy it anyway, but I'm sure the fact that you're winning races and you're doing really well, and that must like sort of spur you on a bit, because I can guarantee you, local races, you'll turn up to a race and then someone will be in the change rooms. They'll go, they'll be chatting to their mate and they'll go, oh bloody hell, Yvonne McNairn's just turned up, and then they're like, oh, do you know what I mean? So it happens, like all these little local races, whatever it is. And so it's a good.
Do you know what's the nicest thing for me is when the kids at school kind of recognise it. So I tell them about my racing and I tell them about my running. And last year when I did London, I had my primary 2 class, so much younger and much less understanding certainly than the class I've got this year, who are primary 5.
Yeah.
And one of the girls came in after I'd done the marathon and brought me in a card, and her mum and her dad had looked up my time online and had made me a card and had written my time on the front.
All right.
And I just thought, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And then this year I've got primary 5, and of course Google, you can Google any of us, and if you Google me, there's fair amount of pictures, and through Giffnock North and through Power of 10 and through the Scottish Masters, and she made me a card with all my PBs on it, and a wee picture of me running with my Giffnock North kit. She even had my wee blue hairband, the ponytail, and I just thought, and it's almost just in without being cheesy or full of myself, it's inspiring the young people, and if you're inspiring the young people to maybe be active and be fit and to put themselves out there and to try and do hard things, then, and also my little boy, making it, he sees that his parents are fit and active, because that's a normal part of life.
Really cool, and like Sean says, fair play to doing it all while you're juggling, parenthood and work and everything. And sorry, just on that note, I'm interested. Have you had to take part in one of the sort of child sports days, the parent-child sort of sports day race? Have you had one of those?
No, I haven't. I'm gutted. I'm absolutely devastated. But I'm actually, sometimes I would worry about these things, because see if it was like a flat race that was 60 metres, there'll be somebody that's not ran for 10 years that could turn up and beat me, because I'm like, no, can we make it a marathon?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have to keep training just
once you've got that raw speed.
Fair enough.
I could definitely get beaten by like the mum round the corner that's not been training.
Can't be having that.
No, definitely not. I mean, but like you said though, you're in a running family, because your husband runs as well, Paul McNairn.
Yeah,
and he runs for Bella Roadrunners.
The enemy.
So
yeah,
the enemy.
I'm only kidding. Yeah, Bella are a great club, but they train on different nights from Giffnock North, so
I see. So
we
does
take
that
it in
work?
turns.
Bella Roadrunners, is that the purple vest?
That's the purple Bellas, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Sean? I think that's who Al Myers used to run for.
I think it was, yeah, it was Al.
Yeah.
A guy called Al Myers.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of our friends. He's
right. I don't recognise the name. That's why I'm asking. He must not run anymore.
You could probably say he doesn't run anymore. Yeah, he's not really doing much. He randomly goes to South Korea with his family for a holiday. Like, oh, we're in South Korea. Oh, we're in Brazil. I'm like, what's the matter with the Canary Islands? What's the matter with you? Like, He's like, oh, I'm in Zimbabwe this weekend. I was like, what do you mean for a weekend? Like,
What?
Yeah,
yeah,
he likes to travel, the boy. But yeah, he's still running a little bit, but he's now
Mhm.
got a wee boy as well, and his
Yeah,
motivation's definitely not there, and he's got a busy job as well. So there you
it
go.
does change things.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But for yourself and Paul, so I'm guessing you guys met through running.
No,
No, really?
no.
Wow.
Paul's only been running for a year.
Oh,
All right.
really? Has he?
Yeah, not even.
See. I thought it'd
About a
been one.
year. He used to play football. I
Ah,
say play football, play amateur football.
Right.
hmm.
So tell us how you did meet then.
We met in the tunnel.
Like, the nightclub, not a random tunnel in
The
Glasgow.
nightclub that doesn't exist anymore. Because I said to somebody recently about us meeting in the tunnel, and they were like, "Where? What's the tunnel?" I was like, "Oh, what do you mean? What's the tunnel?" It's getting to that stage now that nightclubs that I used to go to are now shut.
Oh, there you go. Well, when you said the tunnel, I mean, my first obviously clearly wasn't, but the only tunnel I really think of is the Dartford Tunnel because I'm from down that neck of the woods, and I wouldn't.
Oh, the Dartmouth tunnel. I've been through there.
Yeah, that's quite dangerous. I wouldn't advise
Mm.
meeting anyone there, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, no, Paul's only been running for a year, and then he beat my PBs within about 6 months.
did he? That swine.
Yeah, I fell out with him,
Yeah.
and I may or may not have cried.
You just need to
I've
train
been
harder
training
now.
for years to get those times, and you've just got them all of a sudden.
How dare
I'm all
you?
right now.
I was going to ask, like, if he was running by the news met, like, what was your first date? Was it like 10 times 400 or something? Or like...
No, it wasn't then, but it is now. There was a bit of
Sorry,
a joke.
quickly, I've got a child situation to attend to. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay. No, I
Cool.
was going to say at the weekend there, Alexander had a play date, and everyone's like, "Oh, what are you going to do?" And we were like, "Go for a run." Everyone's like, "You know, going for lunch," or we're like, "No,
We're gonna run, get a coffee, and then run back.
we're going to run, get a coffee, and then probably get a shower, and then pick up Alexander."
Done.
Because we train separate nights, so
Yeah, and these are, you're both good runners, so you can keep up with each other, etc. So
aye, we were
it's just,
doing 3 by 2 miles on in Strathclyde Park on Sunday, and he was definitely a good windshield.
oh yeah, yeah.
He was sitting at like 6:10. I was sitting at like 6:13, like ugh, trying to keep up. But it was a good to try and keep up.
Yeah, definitely. But like also you're Giffnock and Paul is Bella Roadrunner. So like, see on race days and stuff, is it quite tense in the house? Is it like you don't speak to each other and it's like you need to take separate cars to the race and all that?
Well, some depends what race it is, right? So if it's like the Glasgow half, you have to go together. And then I get super nervous and I don't really talk. I'm not a morning person anyway, but in the morning of a race, I'm just questioning all my life choices. I'm not that kind of person that's filled with adrenaline. I'm like, it's that like fight or flight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just get filled with fear. So I'm not really one for talking. But if it's cross country or something where it's male and female, we go separately because
Mm-hmm.
usually his race is later and he's still working.
I see. But
So it just depends. But no, I'm not a good person to be around before a race.
I think is it just like you said, the nerves.
Yeah, I just start to question all my life choices. I'm like, oh, all my pals are out for brunch and I'm going to a race. I mean,
But
you never regret it. You always are glad you've done it after. But I just wish I could channel that energy somehow, and I'm not very good at doing that.
and I always say people always speak. I've never taken any drugs my whole life, but mainly because I wasn't invited out to these nightclubs. Doing that.
You didn't make it to the tunnel
No, I really didn't.
down in
I've never.
Greenock.
No, the even we had Word Up and Red. I worked in Word Up just so I could say I went to the nightclub. But a lot of people say being on these drugs and I was so steaming that last night. But I genuinely believe there's no better high than when you've ran a race, you've smashed your PB, and all your trainings all came together, and then like you at the Glasgow half, you're able to make the podium as well. I just think there's no other better feeling, and
Yeah.
that feeling lasts for you know weeks.
Yeah, well, for life. I mean, without being cheesy, I genuinely will never forget that day.
Yeah.
London Marathon, I'll never forget it. You know, your wee, little races and club champ races, they come and go, but those big events where you run the race of your life, is just, there's, like you say, you can't beat it.
No, you can't. But that's what I talked about. See your club championship.
Hmm.
Obviously in our town there is Inverclyde AC and the Glen Park Carriers. Like our club, like, we've got a club championship. We just kind of do it, you know, throughout the season. We kind of use like the national and the West
Yeah.
and stuff like that, you know. But the Glen Park Carriers, they've got, they've got a great club championship. You know, it's like separate club races and there's loads of them as well. Is Giffnock similar, or do you do the kind of Inverclyde method?
Yeah, so we kind of set about, I mean, I might be wrong here, maybe let's say 20 races, right? And you need to do at least 8 events. But one of them could be a half, one of them could be a marathon, and it doesn't need to be a specific one. Don't know how they do it in terms of your time. I think it just goes for the best times, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then they choose, so like the Scottish National 5K is part of it, the West District is part of it, the National Cross Country is part of it, Tom Scott 10 mile, like, so 10 mile championships part of it. We always target ones like Troon 10K, Brian Goodwin 10K, yeah, and I can't really remember the other ones, but yeah, a best of 8.
All
So
right.
say you finished first for the club, you'd get 10 points. If you finished second, you would get 9 points, so on. And then it's your total score. And then there's age categories as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I'm
Very
too
good.
young for the V40 this year
Uh,
because I was 39 when I was competing. But next year, starting this club champs, this West Districts there, I'll be V40.
oh, nice. So you're just going to completely destroy the Giffnock Club Championship then?
Well, I was club champ 2 years in a row there, and then a young girl came along. I say young, she's 28, but she's 12 years younger than me. And I think, honestly, our scores were identical. And I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but I think it came down to the half marathon and we were 10 seconds apart.
Oh,
Ooh.
who was it?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Emma
E
Creasy.
Emma Creasy. Emma,
So
if
she
you're
used to run
watching
for Ayr.
this,
Now she runs for Giffnock North. But I hardly see her. She doesn't get to train very often, but we were great to train together, but she's got kind of a job where the hours don't suit, so I don't see her at training very often. But we're pretty
wow.
similar. But she's had a way better season than me, so she deserves to win.
Oh, we've got her coming on next week, so we'll ask her about that. I'm joking. So,
Right.
Yvonne, sorry, I had to shoot off. I was to say, I see you were competing as a vet 35, I think, back in 2020. So you've obviously not fairly recently. Did you say it was last year? Was it the Big 4-0? When was that then?
Yeah, just in September I was 40.
Okay, fair enough. So into the new age category now, then, and lots of new challenges and age
Yeah,
group PBs.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, I noticed that one of my friends who runs for PH got an invite to the World Masters Marathon in New York.
oh wow.
And so she messaged me and she's like, "Oh, you'll have one." And I'm looking, been like, "I don't have one." And then I realised, because I was 39 when I did London, so I wouldn't qualify.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So I'm
well.
like, "Oh, there's something else to look forward to." So it's all these new age categories. There's something, new to look forward to.
Yeah, good stuff. And sorry, I just obviously coming back in there. I had to Google, by the way, how you change a thermometer from Fahrenheit to Celsius, but I now know. So there you go. But
The checking temperatures.
what was to say? I see you mentioned the Tom Scott there. I think that's where your 10 mile PB, isn't it? Are you
Yeah,
got any plans to go back there? Will you be doing that this year? Do you
I'm
think?
going back in April. Yeah.
Okay. And the big question is there a sub 60 on the cards?
Oh,
Not too much to go.
I think there should be, but it's hard. It's hard. 6 minute
Yeah.
miles. See if I can run well at Alloa. I think maybe.
Yeah. Good stuff.
maybe.
All right.
I would love to. There's girls that I know that have done 59, and I'm thinking I could do 59.
Yeah.
I would love to do 59.
We'll keep an eye out, and we might be there in some shape or form. Whether either of us are running, I don't know, but we'll if we're
Sean
there,
on the start line with his
exactly.
I will not be running. I tell you right now, I will not be running.
It's a good race to come and vlog.
Yeah.
That is. I've not done a vlog in a while, actually. The last
Sean
one I did.
loves a vlog, as you know.
Yeah, I know I do. I love it. I do. Told Pete numerous times to pull his phone out and start vlogging, but he's just like, oh no, I'm gonna go and play football instead and hit my back.
That's right. Right.
You two spend too much time together. That is a spot on accent.
Thanks, Yvonne. I was going to say, like, when we did the Charlie Spedding episode, I nearly burst out laughing at the end
The
because
what?
our episode with Charlie Spedding,
Uh-huh.
and like, you could just tell Pete, being from England and stuff, he was just like, "Oh, Charlie Spedding's on that," and then right at the end of the podcast, he's like, "Thank you, Charlie." I'm just like, I'm sorry, Pete. It just sounded funny at the time.
Yeah, so I don't really, I'm not really following, mate, but I'm sure it sounded funny in your head, though.
Mate, it was great. It was great.
He's laughing at you. He's being mean.
I know.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that his patter, his banter? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You say banter.
Yeah. Well, Pete, tell us that in England, is it? Do you say banter?
We do say banter.
Banter, but is it
Yeah.
patter?
No patter. Although I do like scoff and patter because we've been there on a date, haven't we, Sean? Several times.
Yeah, Scoff and Patter. It's very nice in Bishopton. We are not sponsored by them at all. We just like.
Yeah, there are other coffee shops available. Other
Yes,
cafes. Yeah,
there is. But yeah, so Yvonne, your story it's been great. Obviously, as a junior, then you found the university lifestyle, alcohol. You met your husband in the tunnel. You had sepsis and battled through it, and then also smashing all your performances so far. You all know you're going to be doing a marathon next in Berlin. But what would be like your next kind of target in Scotland? Would you want to try and medal at like the Masters cross country or on the track in your age group or indoors? That seems to be quite popular now.
Yeah, I didn't do the Masters cross country this year because I wasn't very well in November and December, and only with teacher lurgy is what I would call it, just absolute in the depths of the bin with my immune system, and I really didn't race any cross country, and I didn't feel like I had the cross country fitness or confidence to go and do the Masters, so I skipped it this year. But I was looking at the results thinking, yeah, maybe I can medal. I just don't know that I like cross country. I love doing the Masters cross country, but I'm not convinced that I love it, and I don't know if I've just talked myself out of it. But again, the track Masters that was just on there, I don't know if I've just missed the advertising because I see these things and think, oh, I could have done that. I could have got that time.
Yeah.
And then I think I need to be more aware of when these things are being advertised. So I think if I maybe target something shorter and faster, that would maybe be something I would like to do. But
Yvonne, so I was just going to say, just on that note of races and targets and stuff, I had it in my phone. I was just double checking that info was right. I believe it's not the Scottish one. I believe it's the big one. It's the British Masters cross country, I think. Have you got that in your calendar? 15th of March in Tollcross Park, I believe.
This year?
Yeah. According, it was in my. We used the Hayer app, me and Sean with Inverclyde, and I had that in there, and then I thought I'll just double check, but I believe that's right, Sean, because it's on our fixtures anyway. Yeah,
I think that's the same weekend as Alloa.
Oh, is it right? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, what race is that?
The one I'm talking about is the British Masters Cross Country Champs, 15th of March, Tollcross Park. We've got it on the Hayer app, and I've just googled it, and it's coming up. So that's a decent one to do.
I think that's the same weekend for me as Alloa.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, why have I not entered that? That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a great one to do.
Yeah. So maybe next year I'll scratch the half early
Alloa,
half and
just looking.
focus on.
Sorry, that's on the 16th on the Sunday. So that it's
Yeah.
the day after. So
Yeah.
well, game over. Never mind. But
Yeah.
I mean, you could do both, Yvonne. You could do both.
you could. It's not unheard of.
I could repeat Arrochar of flat and fast straight into Arrochar the next day.
True. I mean, Yvonne, see when I won the Kilmacombe 10K for the third record time.
Say that again.
When
You
I
won?
won the Kilmacombe 10K for the third record time.
Wow.
You've never mentioned that before.
I know I've never told anyone that before. I ran 16 miles the day before, so you could do the cross country the day before, then rock up to a half marathon. I've got full belief in you.
Well, the West District Relays was the day before the Glasgow Half, and young Ninka and Emma from my club both absolutely smashed it with the cross country in their legs. So, although I don't think Ninka did the half, but I'm sure she did. Or did she do the half?
No, she did. No, she did. She came second.
Aye,
half,
right. So I don't know why I was doubting myself there. Yeah, so Ninka and Emma both smashed it the day after the cross country. So there's something in it.
Yeah. No, I think there is.
Don't know if I've got the confidence to do that.
I think it just depends what kind of race it is. If
Yeah.
it's like, a half marathon and back to back, maybe not, but maybe a short race and a long race. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I've got full belief in you. I think you can do it.
Maybe you could do it in disguise.
As a slide. Swing, sorry.
Know. I need to go for one of the best hair transplants the world has ever seen.
I'd probably find you a good wig.
That's fine. I'll take
really dark roots and.
Listen, at this rate, I'll take any routes. I think now, and I could probably do a whole podcast with my journey losing my hair, but it's a running podcast, so we'll not do that.
No. Let's move on. I don't like the subject. I'm not okay with this subject of hair loss. Let's move on.
I don't like to show off, but did I show you my ponytail?
It's lovely.
See, this is why I'm constantly in the gym. I'm just like, well, if I'm bald, I need to try and get a wee bit of muscle to try and look like an athlete, not just some wee scrawny Lord of the Rings character, So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, this has been a very, 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 very good episode. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad we get a female on because Pete, we've tried, haven't we? We have tried.
Well, you've tried, Sean.
Well, it's a team effort, but we have tried to get female guests on, and I understand.
Maybe more females will come on once they see a female on.
Yeah, and they realise we're not weird.
You're not that scary. They're not that weird. They're only a wee bit weird.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, though, everyone's kind of weird, so.
We're all weird. All of us runners got to be weird to do this.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, who in their right mind pays money to put themselves through the pain and suffering of a marathon?
No.
So, yeah.
Me.
So, yeah, and me too. And Pete numerous times.
Yeah, that's it. Well, listen, Yvonne, you're at the level though where if you look at the right races, people will actually be. You won't be paying to do races. People will actually be paying you to do races, or you'll be getting free entries. Mm-hmm. So have a look. I
have had elite entries to the Glasgow Half a couple of times, but I think that ship has sailed. So I need to get back under 120 again.
Have a look at the I've not even looked into it myself, although I will do. Someone at my work was telling me a certain standard on the men's side, so I'd imagine you'd more than smash it on the women's side. The equivalent standard, I don't know what it is, but Milton Keynes marathon. It's just a random marathon, but they offer I mean, I've been lucky. I've had a few races. I mean, we'll just go back to 2009 when the Edinburgh Marathon actually paid me £250 just to do the marathon, but that's when I could actually run a bit. But that ship sailed. So
I'm just clinging on to the prize money.
Exactly.
Clutches right now. Straws. Clutching.
No, listen, it's good. Get it. What you're in the peak of your powers. So I'll see you back at Arrochar this year, hopefully. And
I love it. I don't want to advertise it too much because
can we edit that bit out?
But it's rubbish. Arrochar 10K is rotten. Don't go.
It is crap. Yeah. And I'll maybe try and trade my bottle of whiskey for your bottle of prosecco. I think I tried that last year. You have none of it.
Deal. I'll do that.
Yep. And Arrochar 10K is not in September. It's in such a winter's day in
No, it's been cancelled anyway, hasn't it? That was the last year. I'm gutted about that because I quite enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh no, he had a wee twitch
Oh,
there. It's
oh,
yeah. I see what you did there. I see.
oh.
Come on,
I was
Yvonne,
like,
get
oh
bored.
no, I love it.
You're supposed to be a teacher. I don't know what that's got to do with teaching, but anyway.
I mean,
We're good actors. That's what it is. That was great acting.
that was very good.
Cancelled.
That was really good, Pete. I'm usually first to call it your bullshit, but you had me there as well. I was like, no
I was
way.
like, oh,
Well done, Pete. That was good. That was good. You got me. You got me.
funny.
There we go.
Hook, line, and sinker.
But yeah,
Like the seal that you are.
Dolphin.
The dolphin. Yeah,
The dolphin.
the dolphin that I am. But no, this has been a fantastic episode. I've really, yeah, you like you said before it, like I can keep on talking, but that's what we like. We like people who go on and just talk, and it's great when they give our stories. And if there's any other female guests out there who you'd like to come on, please. We've been trying to get female guests on, and I can't thank you enough, Yvonne, for coming on.
No, you're welcome. I've enjoyed it.